No matter who you are, your financial habits will catch up to you eventually. Now, that could be a great thing, or it could be absolutely disastrous. It all really depends on which habits you pick up and which habits you neglect entirely. With a recession looming and many people around the globe tightening their purse strings, there has never been a better time to brush up on some tips that could help you save a ton. Luckily for you, in this video, I'm going to be sharing 11 habits you need to avoid to become a frugal money saver. Let's get right into it. Number 1. Eating out and ordering in. Many of us don't want to admit that we are leaning on DoorDash and Grubhub a little bit too much when it comes to sustenance. Those delivery fees, service charges, and tips all add up, not to mention the marked up price of the foods as well. With their user-friendly interfaces and perfectly photographed pictures of mouth-watering food, it's almost too easy to pick up the phone and spend $20 on a snack you don't even need. This is why I strongly urge you just delete the app off your phone altogether. Remove the temptation entirely. The next time you go to order something instead of cooking for yourself, you will remember that you just deleted the app in an effort to spend less money. Going out to eat can be just as expensive as ordering in. Not only that, you have to waste precious gas just to get to the restaurant. If you want to fully embrace becoming a frugal money saver, then you should set a limit as to how often you go out to eat each month with a fixed budget for each and every visit. Number 2. Buying brand new instead of used. Can you really tell the difference between buying something pre-owned instead of new? Especially if it's certified and coming from a reputable buyer, then there's really no reason why you can't purchase used items instead of always purchasing the latest and greatest, newest models of things. Cars, laptops, and in some cases even clothes are all perfect examples of expensive items that hold their value through numerous owners. Hand-me-downs are now rephrased as vintage and sometimes sell for 10 times the original article of clothing did. It is estimated that new cars lose about 20% of their value the second you drive it off the lot. The only difference between a brand new purchase and a used purchase is the slight visual difference, if any difference at all. Number 3. Impulse online shopping. We all have that consumer itch to scratch. Whether it's Etsy, Amazon, or even Instagram's marketplace, it's just way too easy to shop online these days. Most of the time, we're buying things we don't even need just because we're bored and it gives us something to look forward to. These mindless purchases can add up quickly, however, and this is a bad habit that should be curbed immediately. Not only is this a terrible money waster, but it also leads to way more clutter and just more possessions in general. Impulse buying isn't an easy habit to quit, especially with how accessible Jeff Bezos and Tim Cook are making online shopping. Putting freezes on your credit cards or designating only a certain amount of time on these websites are two excellent ways to stop putting this type of spending on your credit cards. In a year's time, you will look back on all of the things you were thinking about purchasing but didn't and realize how you got along just fine without them. Number 4. Ignoring your thermostat. A malfunctioning thermostat could be a quite costly leak in your finances if left untreated for too long. Faulty thermostat readings could lead to the house being overheated or even overcooled and wasting tons of energy. That's why it's important to get them checked every once in a while to make sure the readings are accurate. Tightening up any and all expenses is the most efficient way of living a frugal lifestyle. You could even go as far as weatherproofing all of the window and door sills in your house to ensure maximum energy efficiency. We pay good money to keep the climates of our houses controlled, so it's important to trap that heat or that cold air after we do so. Number 5. Buying brand names instead of generic. Some studies have shown everyday generic items such as laundry detergent, dish soap, and shampoo were found to be nearly identical in chemical composition to their brand name counterparts. It's absolutely absurd to me to think that we pay top dollar for the exact same product just because they have a colorful label or a famous spokesperson promoting their brand. It's almost insulting as a consumer when times are this tough and these big corporations are price gouging you behind some celebrity's popular face. I urge you, make the switch to buying generic. Your body won't know the difference, but I promise you your wallet will. Number 6. Buying clothes that don't last. Fast fashion is killing the environment. Gone are the days where you can buy a winter coat or a pair of jeans and be set for years. I feel lucky if I can make it through a full calendar year before my shoes start deteriorating right around my feet. It may be a little bit difficult, but it's totally worth it. Just take your time when clothes shopping and do a little bit of research to find something that will last the tests of time. There are still brands out there that care about the quality of their clothing and aren't here to just tax you by convincing you to upgrade your wardrobe year in and year out. Number 7. Smoking cigarettes and or vaping. The average smoker smokes more than 10 cigarettes in a day. Seeing as how there are 20 cigs in a pack and a pack sells for around $7, it's safe to say that smokers spend over $100 a month on cigarettes. If you invested that same $3.50 a day into the stock market, you'd probably be sitting on close to $1,400 at the end of the year. Now imagine if you did this every year. The numbers for how expensive vaping is aren't as clear as it is for smoking, but the numerous health benefits and unknown risks associated with vaping are extremely concerning. Paying thousands of dollars a year to do irreversible damage to your body is definitely not one of the laws of living a frugal lifestyle. Number 8. Overdraft fees. Overdraft fees are a nightmare. I sometimes can't believe it's legal for a bank to charge you money for not having enough money. It's kind of comical in a way. Well, these fees can certainly add up, and since they are sneaky, they can really set you back if you're living on tight margins. That's why it's crucial to know exactly what your bank's requirements are in order to avoid these charges. You may even want to consider moving your money to a bank that doesn't have overdraft fees or monthly charges at all. Lots of banks these days will even offer you a nice sign-on bonus, as so many big corporations are desperate to bring in more clientele during these economic downtimes. Number 9. Carrying credit card debt. Do you ever get the feeling that a rain cloud has just singled you out and is now following you everywhere you go? That's what it feels like to have credit card debt. Not only is the interest high on most credit cards, it can really hamstring your spending ability as well in the case of an emergency. Credit card debt can be extremely difficult to get on top of, but if you're able to secure a consolidation loan at a lower interest rate, then you're basically golden. If not, then I highly recommend researching the avalanche method of paying down credit card debt. Number 10. Drinking fancy coffees. I am all for trying holiday seasonal coffees, even if they are loaded with sugar and fat, but I have the good sense in drawing a line at maybe 1 or 2 per season. The difference between buying expensive coffees every day and making coffees at home can be huge, especially when your trips to Dunkin' and Starbucks can range anywhere between $7 and $14. Brewing a pot of coffee at home and making it just how you like it is not only a huge money saver, it saves you precious time as well in making those trips to the stores. I'm not saying you should cut out all the things that bring you joy in life, but I am saying you should stay on top of this spending and don't turn it into a bad habit. Number 11. Grocery shopping without a list. Have you ever noticed how the smart grocery stores will always put the most delectable looking baked goods right in front? So not only do you see them as soon as you walk in, but that smell of fresh bread hits you like a brick wall. The next thing you know, your cart is half full and you haven't even started gathering things you actually need. With inflation as high as it is, groceries have reached an almost comical price. That's why when I go food shopping, I always bring a list. I know I'm probably going to go off script a little bit, but if I'm sticking to my list, at least I have a game plan and not just left to wander and essentially get myself into trouble. Keeping a list and using apps like Ibotta, which is a cashback grocery app, are the 2 main ways that I save money when I shop. We all have a financial pattern. Everyone has daily routines and daily expenses. But learning to need less and learning to spend less are 2 huge steps in becoming a more frugal money saver. It's not easy, and it certainly won't happen overnight. But implementing these 11 habits will absolutely set you out on the right path to becoming a more frugal person. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. I truly hope you enjoyed the video. Please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on more amazing content like this.